Breaking news to report right now. I want to go to Thann Bennett again in Washington, D.C. And Thann, we've got some clarification on exactly where Senator Manchin, West Virginia, this key Democrat swing vote, is on the vote today specific to the Women's Health Protection Act. Tell people what we've learned.
The reporting from the Hill is that Joe Manchin there's two parts to this. The first part is good. Joe Manchin has said that he will vote no on the abortion procedural vote today. He said, I've made a decision. I know where I've always stood. It's not Roe v. Wade codification. It's an expansion. It wipes 500 state laws off the books and it expands abortion. So he's going to vote no on that. But Jordan, the next part, this is literally what we've been talking about on this broadcast. He says, I would vote for Roe v. Wade codification if it was today. I was hopeful for that, but I found out yesterday in caucus that it wasn't going to be. I've been pro-life all my life. Jordan, I'm going to break it down really simply. That means if he were presented with the Collins-Murkowski language that we've been talking about that would codify Roe, which they could do later today or next week, Jordan, he would be in favor of that, and that would give them the 50 votes that they would need.
Exactly what we are kind of predicted is happening, and we've got plans for all of these. The troubling part of it's good that we're going to on the vote today. The problem is the Murkowski language is more of a codification of Roe versus Wade, and you got Joe Manchin who says he's pro-life but in favor of abortion on demand, which is Roe versus Wade. So I mean, this is the irony of all of this. But this is not unexpected. So this is why we have got to keep the momentum up and the pressure up on this. As we defeat one, they're going to come back with the next. That was the whole purpose of leaking that opinion, was to build a groundswell of support from these pro-abortion groups who are spending millions of dollars on this. You know, we're talking about raising $350,000. They're spending millions of dollars on these things. But we're going to be effective with what we are given by our donors. But I'm telling you, folks, exactly what we thought might happen is happening. So we got to be really on guard here.
Legislatively, you go for the max. That's what the initial vote's going to be on today, the most extreme pro-abortion bill they can put forward, which would eliminate all restrictions on abortion, as Joe Manchin said, of 500 state laws that have been held constitutional, that have, under the Roe versus Wade framework, have been held constitutional. Those would all be wiped out. So it would be much more extreme than what is the current law of the land. And so you say, okay, maybe they don't have the votes for that. So they go back to the abortion industry and they say, but we can get you back to Roe versus Wade, we think. Right. We think we can get you to there. We're going to have to pull some legislative moves there. Are you going to back us at there? Because that's what they'll need to know is from the abortion industry, are you going to back, is NARAL, is all the Planned Parenthood and all their groups, Center for Reproductive Rights, are they going to give them the green light to move forward with that secondary legislation that's proposed by Murkowski and Collins?
Both of these are extreme. The most extreme vote today. They start with it so that they can give everybody on the pro-left, sort of radical left, a vote on it. And then they use that as a negotiating posture to come back to Joe Manchin and say, okay, you oppose that bill. We'll move to the bill you like. Now you've got to give us the 50th vote to clear cloture and ultimately bring Collins and Murkowski on to clear it in final. Jordan, again, you hate to say it. This is exactly what we said the United States Senate needed to be voted on guard for. I'm glad that it looks like they're going to win that procedural vote today, although who knows? I mean, Joe Manchin could move again, but Jordan, it's teed up exactly according to their plan to then move to the Collins-Murkowski language and try to get Joe Manchin on board.
We have to fight aggressively, and Thann's team is doing a great job on Capitol Hill for all of you that are members of the ACLJ or watching us right now, and it's also why, our legal team has expanded our memos and are preparing to do that again in case we'd go after this legally.
They're not going to stop these efforts. I think this will be a continual push, and this is a big first step. And so we need everybody who's pro-life in the U.S. Senate to step up.